If you're anything like me, which in some ways you may be, but in this way you definitely aren't, you've been waiting patiently for the premiere of Bookstore Blitz, the new web series from our friends at Simon & Schuster.
Hi guys, I'm Stuart, executive editor at Simon & Schuster.
You know Simon & Schuster, 100-year-old publishing company. They got that sick Johnny Appleseed logo. But if you don't recognize Johnny Appleseed from the logo, that's because this is a bonkers body position to be planting fruit trees in. Anyway, here's the premise. A Simon & Schuster author is given $100 in 5 minutes and set loose in the McNally Jackson bookstore at Rockefeller Center. The debut episode features
The one and only Anna Marie Tendler,
who I'll admit I primarily know as the person who used to be married to John Mulaney, the comedian from I Love the 30s.
I met Babe Ruth at a function for little kids with many diseases.
Tendler is the author of Men Have Called Her Crazy, a memoir that, to many people's surprise, does not mention her ex-husband. This led The Atlantic to call the book an NDA memoir for the non-disclosure agreement that was likely part of her divorce settlement. Personally, I believe that NDAs should be illegal. Why is it okay that you're allowed to just buy someone's silence?
Thank you.
If you're interested in a detailed breakdown of Men Have Called Her Crazy, Siobhan, Brier, Aguilar has an excellent one right here. So, in Bookstore Blitz, we watch as Tendler hustles up and down the stairs, picking her literary treasures, through which we get to know her a little. Why? As Simon & Schuster publisher Sean Manning says, the persona of the author can be very marketable. If only I had something to market other than my free Substack. Manning told New York Magazine, "My hope is that inevitably the series could be a promotional stop like Chicken Shop Date or Hot Ones." Hot Ones? A literary Hot Ones? I want a literary Hot Ones. I'm just deeply skeptical that a big publishing conglomerate is going to be the one who produces it.
Oh my gosh.
Manning asks, why are we, Simon & Schuster, so dependent on outside media? Well, it's because when book publishers produce bookish content, most of us see it for what it is, an ad. Bookstore Blitz is an ad. If for a moment we thought it wasn't, we might be reminded when Anna Marie Tendler, set free into an empty bookstore with 57,000 books, immediately picks her own book, saying,
Gotta get the sale.
Then, when she's rung up at the end of the show, the books she's chosen total $125, so she has to put one back. Should she put back Cat Tarot or her own book? She decides to buy her own book with the $100. I mean, she's being funny. It's cute. I get it. But come on, this video, produced by Simon & Schuster, is an ad for her book, published by Simon & Schuster.
and it's a must-read.
This isn't going to be the literary Hot Ones. This could be literary Hot Ones. I'm kind of kidding, but recently I discovered that my goofy little literary YouTube channel, in which I've published 4 videos, already has more subscribers than 4 out of the 5 big publishing companies. And they've been publishing hundreds of videos for years. At first I was shocked by this, as you can tell by the shocked expression on my face. But then I realized the content they produce on those channels function as advertisements for the books they publish.
The ranch table.
Most people don't go on a YouTube to watch corporate content, though the rise of sponsorships has made that line kind of blurry, and that's why I'm so happy to tell you about today's sponsor, Simon & Schuster's own Outlaw Golf, the only golf game where you can call your caddy a slut and a Republican.
But Republican.
The problem with Bookstore Blitz is that it makes sense from Simon & Schuster's perspective. How do we introduce our author to potential readers and have it stand out? But I don't think it makes sense from a reader or viewer's perspective. If I already know the author, sure, I might want to watch them shop, but I'd rather hear them talk about something they're passionate about.
I long to live in a Victorian dollhouse with cobwebbed attics.
And if I don't know the author, why would I want to watch a writer I don't know pick out a few books at a bookstore? To put it bluntly, I don't care. Like, do you care that Hannah Demetrius is reading a book about the Ottoman Empire while standing on a chair in a field of dead corn? God, stock photos are so weird. I made up that person, but you get the point. Of course, Bookstore Blitz has the game aspect to it. $100, 5 minutes. The problem with that is it's not an interesting game. In episode 2, we get Ed Helms. That's cool. Ed is focused and excited. He collects this awesomely fat stack and hauls it to the register. But $100 will only buy this. 4 books. This is not a satisfying game. Maybe they were modeling it on this short by Haley Pham, which has 28 million views.
For our date night this week, Ryan told me that he would buy as many books as I could hold in 30 seconds.
So right off the bat, the stakes are way higher. 30 seconds? All the books she can carry? We're immediately curious. How many books will she get? What strategy will she employ? Will she just grab new hardcovers until her arms give out? Ooh, or will she take one hardcover picture book to use as a tray and load it with paperbacks? Turns out she hunts specific books, and now we get the joy of hearing her husband tease her.
No way. You're losing time.
She starts in young adult, runs to horror, goes back to young adult, only gets 6 books. I was expecting more, but she seems stoked. And we do the whole thing with 0 product placement. Yes, they're performing for a YouTube audience, but their authenticity isn't filtered through corporate marketing.
So yeah, that's basically a guide on how to keep your wife happy for the rest of her life.
What's crazy to me is a publisher ought to know what makes a good story. We need high stakes. We need a question that the viewer wants answered. Haley's video tells a little story. Bookstore Blitz does not. As a little side note, it's always a man handing out the money in these videos, usually to a woman.
You're on your own? I have to go back to work. You look great.
Apparently a woman handing shopping money to a man is an act of castration.
We're going to be spending an obscene amount of money in here.
To improve Bookstore Blitz, we merely have to look at its alliterative inspiration.
Supermarket Sweep!
Supermarket Sweep, whose classic era lasted from 1990 to 1995, featured earnestly chipper host David Ruprecht quizzing an assortment of Americans with awesome hair. As a little reminder that some things have improved over the last 30 years, here is Tim and Mark, who had to hide their love behind a lie.
How do you know Tim?
Tim's my business partner.
Doing what, Tim?
We do backdrops for sets for plays and photographic backdrops and that sort of thing.
Business partners.
Business partners. Yeah, a little bit more than that.
Back then, you had to keep a lot of things, quiet, depending on who you were around. I think maybe they see that now, that we're able to live who we are, and maybe that we're still together, too.
Anyway, the crux of the show was the final game, the Big Sweep, where contestants were given a shopping cart with omnidirectional wheels and set loose into the supermarket to gather high-priced items before the time ran out. The key, if I remember correctly, was loading your shopping cart with hams, big ol' hams, and wrapped hams. I know that ham there looks like a turkey, but when it's wrapped up like that, we just call it a ham. This is exciting. The size of the supermarket and the competitive nature of the game encourage real running. Plus, we get the narrator making it all feel more epic and describing the strategies that the contestants are employing.
She's shopping for our fresh hams. Now she turns around. I see a shopper about to get a bonus. LaShawn's got the Ritz crackers. Oh no! She hit it against the aisle and breaks it.
You can't add a narrator to Bookstore Blitz because it's not really a game. You can't do, okay, here comes Tendler, and she's looking for a book. Looks like, oh yeah, she's picking a book, and War and Peace, that's a book for sure. But it's not hard to turn Bookstore Blitz into a game. All we need to add is a trivia-based shopping list. The Jane Austen novel that's had the most film adaptations. Stephen King's best-selling novel. The detective novel that inspired The Big Lebowski. The writer runs through the bookstore looking for the items that match the shopping list. We, the audience, get the joy of competition, and we get to learn some literary stuff, like Pride and Prejudice, The Stand, Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep. Even better, pit 2 authors against each other. Let Anna Marie Tendler and Ed Helms run around the store at the same time. Then you could add items to the shopping list like the most expensive book you can find, the romance novel that gets the most spicy peppers on romance.io.
Ooh, that's a fine tip.
Will these suggestions turn Bookstore Blitz into literary hot ones?
Great question. That's a great question.
Oh, wow, good question.
Well, that's a great question.
No, but I'd watch it.
You are so well spoken. I enjoy conversation with you very much.
Thank you.
What do I want, Simon and Schuster, in exchange for these ideas? Well, as another Blake once said.
Yeah, and then, just think about me from time to time.
Just think about Blake.
This has been a pretty lightweight, but hopefully enjoyable Below the Fray. Oh, sorry, you caught me planting trees like Johnny Appleseed from the Simon & Schuster logo.